Jim, herbicides, I guess it's that time of year.
Well, it certainly is. Now that we've got into the winter and we're actually starting to get some good cold frosts, that's when the plants are actually, or the weeds are actually drawing in their energy to try and stay alive. So this is when you put the herbicides on.
You just quietly kick them while they're down.
Absolutely, and the reason for that is that, and already the weeds are starting to deteriorate a little bit. So growers are sort of reluctant to say, well, should I be putting the herbicides on? Are they going to take it in? They certainly are, because they are really looking to pull down that moisture and look after the carbohydrates as far as the weeds go, as do the trees and the vines and what have you. But of course it sucks in the herbicide, and next thing they've got a headache and they fall over and die. So now is the time. There's good ground moisture in terms of residual herbicides. We don't use a lot of residual herbicides across any of the horticultural crops now, as we did in the old days, but there are still some specific ones that we need to use to get rid of some of the harder to kill weeds, and they need to be applied no later than probably about, if I put a date around it, it's probably not quite right, but it was the end of July, because you're starting to get root movement, hair root movement under the ground, and they can take up some of these residual herbicides. So the idea is to get those on while it's still quite nice and dormant and cold, and they'll do a really good job, and they'll go right through to the early part of the summer, that's what we want them to do. Growers sometimes make a comment. They'll say, well, you know, some of those weeds have got away on me in November. Well, so they should, because it tells you, one, that the residual herbicide has actually run out, and we don't want that in the soil profile. And secondly, you've got other easier knockdown herbicides that'll deal with that weed spectrum at that time if need be.